Hey there guys, how's it going? Reaper here, back with another painting video. This time around we're doing Seli from the core set of Zombicide, and I would say the first of the playable characters, but it's not quite the first one I've done. But since I haven't got any more actual monsters to paint, we're doing nothing but player characters now. And if you couldn't tell already, I'm using a new camera and it's still a little bit iffy. So the picture quality is not as good as it should be, and I need to tweak some settings and make it look a bit more nicer. But I painted this up, recording this, thinking it was good, so I don't want to miss out on having her on the channel. So we've got a less than par, I would say, for quality, although hopefully you can still see what's going on. And I've actually almost finished the first colour. We primed it in grey as we always do, and we're doing elven flesh for all of her skin. And elven flesh is one of those colours, always put 2 layers on. Those 2 thin layers is by far the best way to do this colour properly. And that was it for elven flesh. Now we're on to Necromancer's cloak, and this is for, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like she's just wearing, it's almost like a skirt, but then she's got leggings on as well, so it gets a bit iffy. But this is for that part of the clothing. That was it for Necromancer's cloak. Now we're moving on to Uniform Grey, and this is for all the other bits of clothing apart from her top, as her top is brown for some reason in the concept art. But her leggings and sleeves are sort of grey brown. So the idea behind this was I was going to use Uniform Grey and then use a strong tone wash to basically brown it up. That actually turns out quite dark, which it looks fine on the mini, but if you want to copy the concept art exactly, I would use ash grey instead, just to use that bit lighter colour and have it darken that way, as Uniform Grey is still quite a dark grey. Was it for Uniform Grey then. Now we're moving on to Leather Brown, and this is for the last of her clothing, which is her top. And it is essentially just a strap of leather just encircling her body. You don't see the neck strap because the hair's in the way, but I'm assuming there is one there, otherwise that thing is defying gravity very well. You do also use Leather Brown to do, she has 2 sword sheaths, which one of them she's holding. I can't find that she does not have a sheath for the actual main sword she's using, because one of them has the dagger in there still. And now we're moving on to Pure Red, and this is the first time in a very long time I've done some freehand work, because in the artwork she has sort of crosses and stitching on her leggings that is in red, but the actual model itself doesn't have any of that. But I thought it looked good and it broke up the leggings quite well, so I quickly went through and I've Essentially, I'm just putting some lines circling across like she's got ribbon tied around them. And then once I eventually do this, it does take a while because it's very fiddly and finicky work doing this and trying to get a circle to actually look like a circle. But after this, I do touch the hair as well and do all of her hair in pure red. If you guys are following this along as well, don't do what I did. Change your brush to use a bigger brush, because the detail brush is not the best thing for blocking in a colour such as the hair. It ends up taking twice as long when I could have just used a regiment brush. As long as you've got a good tip, you can actually easily fill this in and not get it anywhere else. And that was it for pure red. Now on to first of the metallics, and this is gunmetal, and this is predominantly for just the main sword. I do the little dagger as well and the handle of the other dagger, but they do get changed to actual gold, which is what's in the concept art afterwards. That was it for the first metallics. Now we're on to corpse pale, and this is basically second highlight, or first highlight, second coat of the skin. As I thought Elven Flesh, it's quite pale, but she's going to get a dark wash over the top of it, so corpse pale will just take it up that notch, which she looks quite pale in the artwork, so I figured I'd go with that. That was it for corpse pale. It was nice and simple, that one. Now we're on to mythical orange, and this is just for the hair. And this paint needs shaking up. I have not shaken mine up nearly enough, and it goes on kind of weird when it's not fully mixed, because that is the thing I find with army painter paints. They seem to sit on the shelf a lot in the warehouse there, so they're not fully mixed up when you get them, so they need a good, like, normally you would shake a paint maybe a minute at most. You're looking at more sort of get it going for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I know some people that have got nail varnish shakers and they just whack them in there for 10 minutes and wait. But once they're shaken up, they are probably some of the best paints I've used for in terms of coverage. And that was mythical orange done. Now we're on to greedy gold, which is where I redo the dagger and the handle for the dagger. I there's a little bit of design work on the sword, so I just touched it up a bit just to make it pop out a little bit more than if it was just standard silver with the rest of the sword. And that was it for the gold. Now we're on to Goblin Green for, she's got sort of 3 gems dangling on her belt, and she's also wearing a bracelet, so I figured green makes the most sense, and that's what the concept art was, so I went with that. And also in the concept art, she does have 2, they look like just lines for tattoos, so they are bluey color in the concept, but I had the green out, so I went with that. Instead of just finding a blue that works, green sort of pops out a bit more against corpse pale. And then we're moving on to Skeleton Bone for all of the sort of intricate design work and stitching that she has. Now that the stitch work and all the details are done, it's just time for the strong tone on everything apart from her skin and hair. Strong tone. Now we're on to flesh wash for all of her skin and the hair to finish up the model. And this just sort of adds that shadow that you want for the highlights and knocks everything down to a more blended color, which I do actually go along as well and take off a lot of this wash on like the big like areas like her stomach and back, as they get very dark and it's more of a stain at that point because there's no recesses for it to go into. You can see now I'm just going through and just taking off some of that wash. But there we go, and that is basically it for the model. Now it's just matte black base, as I do for everything. It's probably the most useful base to have, as it just goes with everything when you put it on the table. I feel like if you have sort of a themed base, it looks funny if you put it in something that's not that theme. So a black base just goes with everything. And there we go, that is it for the model. She's a nice simple one, and it is painted, if you paint like this, it is more than enough to whack it on the table and it will look good. But that's the end of this video, guys. Like, subscribe if you did enjoy, and let me know if you like this camera view before I play with it more, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.